This is Rick Rule for Rule Investment Media and the Rule Classroom, sponsors of the 2025 Rule Natural Resources Investment Symposium, held July 7 through 11 in Boca, Raton, or via live stream from the comfort and convenience of your own home or office. A few things I need to tell you about the seminar. The first is that whether you attend via live stream or whether you attend live, we are going to give you in excess of 50 hours of programming over 4 short days, more than you can possibly absorb. To that end, the recordings will be available for a full year, and you're going to need them to get all the material that we're going to give you. Secondly, as a consequence of how much material we're going to give you, we're interviewing every speaker and every exhibitor before the conference so that you can familiarize yourself with the lessons and opportunities that we'll be presenting to you. This will be important. If you understand the opportunities before the conference, you'll be able to allocate your time and your money more efficiently. One interesting guarantee from our conference: whether you attend live or live stream, if you feel for any reason that we haven't delivered you your money, you'll get your money back. That's right, full money back guarantee. And by the way, every single public company exhibitor at the conference is owned in accounts owned or managed by the conference sponsors. Unlike any other conference in the world, every public company exhibitor at our conference has been vetted. At every other mining conference, I know the qualification to be an exhibitor is merely a check that cashes. Our qualifications are somewhat more onerous. So let's begin the process. Today, my guest is a friend of very long standing, a special guest at the conference, as he's a member of a select group that's called the Living Legends. The Living Legends are mining entrepreneurs who have built multi-billion-dollar mining companies from scratch and are prepared to share with us the lessons that they learned doing it. In addition, Sean will be presenting his group of companies, the Osisko companies, who have been longtime sponsors of our conference. Sean, thank you for decades of effort on behalf of mining investors, but thank you particularly for your ongoing support of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium. Tell us something about Sean Roosen.
Well, Rick, I really do appreciate all the work you've done, and I certainly, on myself, I'm actually a mining guy through and through. I started as an underground miner at 18. I went to a place called the Hillbury School of Mines, which is more like a technical school as opposed to a finance school. And I worked in the industry, ran mines, built mines as an operator. And then I transitioned to the financial side of the business around 1999. Having worked in West Africa for 13 years and gone through 5 civil wars and 4 coups d'etats, I decided it was time to come back to North America. And I can safely say I haven't had any of those things happen here. And my big fortune was that we found and built the Canadian Malartic mine in northern Quebec, and we sold that to Yamana Agnico. Now Agnico owns it 100% and produced 670,000 ounces last year. And out of Agnico's $75 billion market cap, that asset, the package that they got from us, represents north of $20 billion in their current market cap. And we found and built it and operated that up until 2014. So my specialty is looking for tough projects that nobody else can quite figure out and taking on stuff. And I'm mostly focused, I'm a brownfield camp specialist to go in and do new geology, new science, and usually bring bulk tonnage mining and new mining technologies to bear, like we did with Canadian Malartic. We were the first ones to build a 55,000 ton a day gold mill in North America at the time for hard rock. So it opened up the whole bulk tonnage mining. Detour Lake came after us. So we pioneered that sort of the business, especially in the Canadian market. And we've been successful there. And we've also went on to form the royalty company. When we got sold, we spun out a royalty company. So I spent 10 years building Osisko Royalties, which I IPO'd with a $500 million market cap, which today is north of $5.5 billion. So we did the mine, find, and develop, and then we did the royalty space and became the 4th largest royalty company in the precious metal space worldwide. With that, I also spun out a group called the Accelerator Group, which was led by Osisko Mining, myself and John Brzezinski. Started that company. John was the CEO. I was the chairman. We recently sold that company for $2.2 billion to Goldfields last fall. So we've provided liquidity and capital or exits for over $13 billion worth of companies so far. Continue to go, and we're here to talk about ODV a bit today, which is the next prize horse that we're putting on the track or have put on the track.
Well, one of my favorite financial analysts was Janet Jackson, the sister of Michael Jackson. She famously said, "What have you done for me lately?" So talk to us about what you're doing today.
So I'm working primarily on a project under the banner of Osisko Development, listed both on the New York Stock Exchange under ODV and the TSX under ODV. I'm the CEO and chairman of the company. This is my sole focus, and the two main projects are the Caribou Gold Project and the Tint Project in Utah. The Caribou Gold Project is in central British Columbia in the historic camp of Barkerville, which started the gold rush in 1858. It was up in production for 150 years. I'm in the process of putting it back in production with a 5,000 ton a day mine that we think is going to come online at about 200,000 tons, 200,000 ounces a year. Our 2023 feasibility had us at about $900 AISC on that project, so all-in sustaining costs well below that, and currently we've been making more than a $2,000 margin in today's market at that. So it's a pretty exciting project, but this is phase one of this project. I'm only focused on things that I think can be world-class camps, where we can get to 500,000 ounces a year plus in production. When I sold Canadian Malartic, we were making 672,000 ounces a year. And Agnico's announced they're going to take that mine to 1 million ounces a year. So that's the stuff that we're targeting. It allows us to filter out the rest of the noise and focus only on things that we think are going to be, a top tier asset, top 20 in the world. Canadian Malartic is now number 9 in the world, and where we think this one goes, phase one starts as 5,000 tons a day, and then we look incrementally to increase that as we get further into the story, hopefully to 10 and then on to 15,000 ounces, which would give us a destination somewhere north of 500,000 ounces a year were we to be successful. We haven't done any work to get us a feasibility study to that level, but that is the potential that I saw in the project and what I'm pushing to do here. Market cap of the company is about 200 million US right now. Stock's trading about $1.60. There's about $100 million Canadian in the bank. We have $25 million in debt. So that's the primary project. There's 2 million ounces in reserves at 3.78 grams a ton right now, which in today's market, gold's worth roughly $100 a gram. So it's $400 rock, and we mine it at about $80 to $90 a ton. So it's a pretty good margin mine. We're on pavement in a historic camp with electrical power from Site C. So we're on green power, and this is an all underground mine for now. So it's pretty easy going. We've got 481 of these vein corridors. The big question around this project is always, grade stability. So we've taken a pretty conservative approach to it, and we think this is going to be one of the big projects in there. It's been listed top 10 as an acquisition target by about a half a dozen different analysts right now. So it's in Canada on grid power with a permit. The other aspect of this project is we are fully permitted for 5,000 tons a day. Which we got involved in this project in 2015. We applied for the permit in 2019, and we got the permit in November of 2024. So we're in a jurisdiction where you can get permits, a very important aspect of life in this sector. And we've been continuing on with that. And right now we're underground. We're about 1,200 meters or 1,200 yards in the underground. We're in the side of a mountain, going very well. And we're just opening up the ore body now, and it looks spectacular. I'll send you some photos for the show. And where we see it going is that we continue to do this development. We're going to do an updated feasibility study based on what we've learned since we did the first one in 2023. And we should see some pretty good progress on a bunch of fronts, including the comminution work indexes for the metallurgy and all the stuff that goes into stabilizing mining costs. So we're pretty knowledgeable now on what our real costs are going to be. We're pretty happy with it. This is the third time that I've done a mine development of this nature. So, we're going through all of the normal processes, but we're in good shape, and we should have achieve project financing here between now and the end of Q2, hopefully, or Q3, sorry. And then we're in development now, so we'll just continue on and start to ramp up the underground development, which is the main piece of work to be done between now and production, which we're looking for in 2027.
Sean, you're keeping company with another living legend, Robert Friedland, down in Tintic. Can you briefly talk to us about what you're doing down there?
Yeah, Utah is rated the #1 jurisdiction in the world for mining investment by the Fraser Institute right now, so it's a pretty interesting place. It's a historic mining camp again. It started in 1862, and it was the foundation of Kennecott, who made the discovery at Bingham, and the Bingham Canyon is named after Mr. Bingham from the Mormon community. But Bingham is the largest copper mine in North America at this point in time, over a mile deep. We are in the same rocks as the Bingham deposit within a million years. This project was identified for us by the Dr. Dick Sillitoe, who's sort of the godfather of all things copper gold porphyries. So we started looking at this project back in 2010. It took us till 2022 to acquire it, and my neighbors are Mr. Robert Friedland on the southwest of us with his electric Ivanhoe Electric Group, and then to the south of us, Freeport. But as a saying we go, they're in the suburbs and we're downtown. The two big litho caps that are believed to drive the mineralization and all the fluids that came into the system are on our property. 17,000 acres of patented land, so very little BLM land exposure. There are 23 previous producing mines on the property, so we're actually underground in the Trixie gold mine right now. So out of the 23 mines, 5 of them are gold mines, all high-grade gold mines, with the highest one being North Lily at 45 grams a ton. So one of the spectacular grade mines that we've seen. And then there's 18 CRD mines, carbonate replacement deposits, that were gold, silver, lead, zinc, the mines that were mined out, and they were found mostly around the turn of the century. One of them called Bergen that we're still going to look at. So we've got 5 gold mines, 18 silver, lead, zinc mines, and we're looking for the underlying driver of this system, which we believe could be a Bingham lookalike copper gold porphyry system. We haven't found it yet. We're still poking around. And then we have a fourth thing going on there. Under the U.S. Strategic Minerals Act, the manganese is a very important one. We have a large manganese tailings pond on site that we're working on to see if we can unlock that as well. And we do have an active mining permit for the underground at the Trixie Gold Mine. We have 5 megawatts of power, a mill, an old mill that needs to be reinstalled. And it's a spectacular place. And if any of the readers find themselves in Utah, we're just outside of Provo. We're near a town called Eureka, Utah, and it's worth going out there. It's a historic mining district. There's over 200 old mines within probably 10-mile district there. It was previously owned by Kennecott, and Kennecott operated the gold mines and was providing flux for the Bingham smelter once they got going. But they had some spectacular mines there. We published a little resource on this thing of about 150,000 ounces at about 21 grams. So very high grade in today's money. That's, each ton of that rock is worth over $2,000 a ton. And some of the spectacular grades that have come out of there have been $350,000 a ton rock, and some of these high grade epithermal things. So it's quite an interesting one. It's a geologist's paradise, because there's so many things going on in this camp. Robert Friedland's down to the south of us with his Typhoon. He's drilling away, and we're all trying to crack the code on this very interesting piece of the Earth's crust. The mineral endowment here is really second in all of Utah. Is only second to Bingham. So it's a spectacular place. And shadow of the head frame stuff, finding a new mine next to an old mine is kind of my specialty. So that's where we are with that. And we're underground. We're looking at starting the underground mining at Trixie, and we're doing some deep hole drilling, looking for the copper gold porphyry at this point in time. So stay tuned. We might have a lottery ticket on the porphyry if we get lucky on that. But we're only in the third hole, so it's I don't predict success in one shot wonder. So we're going to take a bit of time to do it, but we're certainly significantly enthusiastic about what we're seeing in our recent drilling.
Sean, you've been serially successful, so people need to pay some attention to what you say today. To the extent that our attendees are interested in finding out more about the Osisko opportunities, who particularly do they talk to? Who exactly? And exactly how do they reach that person?
Well, the guy that's far better to track down and does a great job of making sure that everybody gets access to the story and any information that they would like and tell us the story as well or better than I do. Is a fellow named Philip Robinek. He's our VP of Investor Relations. His email is PRABENOK at Osisko Development, OSISKODEV.com. We'll post that up, and it's on our website as well. And his phone number is 1-437-423-3644. And we always have a special place in our heart for anybody that calls us through the Rick Rule platform. Rick has been a big partner of mine for a long time. Back from the Osisko One days when we started in like 2003, I think it was when we published the first on that one, all the way through the various processes. And we've raised about $3.7 billion of equity capital, and we've generated about $14 billion worth of companies under the Osisko banner thus far. But hopefully we're only halfway there.
Well, Sean, thank you for decades of effort, particularly effort on my behalf, as you point out. Thank you, too, for your ongoing sponsorship and support of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium. I look forward to hosting you in Boca.
Appreciate it, Rick, and good luck to all your investors, and look forward to seeing you there. And thanks to all your supporters as well, who have been active shareholders of ours as well throughout the years.